At the age of 75, King Charles couldn't hold back his emotions when his younger brother, Prince Edward, finally spoke out about Princess Diana. This moment, so deeply personal and raw, came after years of silence from Edward, a man known for his quiet demeanor and unwavering loyalty to the royal family. For decades, he had kept his emotions guarded, standing in the shadows while the world speculated about his thoughts on Diana and the turmoil surrounding her. But when Edward finally broke his silence, it was clear that what he revealed went beyond the formalities of royal duty. It was a moment of heartfelt reflection that would leave everyone speechless. Edward's loyalty to Diana was often invisible, but it ran deep. Throughout the years, as the world watched Diana struggle with her royal duties and personal battles, Edward was quietly observing. Unlike the rest of the royal family, who often remained distant and controlled in their emotions, Edward was different. He could see the loneliness that gripped Diana, the quiet sorrow she carried as she navigated a world that never fully accepted her. But in those rare moments when their paths crossed, Edward was always there for her, offering a kind word, a listening ear, and, most importantly, an unspoken understanding that no one else seemed to offer. When Diana tragically passed away in 1997, it was Edward who wept openly, his sorrow undeniable as he took the quiet steps to ensure that Diana's body was returned to the UK. Unlike the other royals who kept their emotions in check, Edward's grief was a raw and real reflection of the bond they had shared. His actions in the aftermath spoke volumes, revealing a man who, though often seen as reserved and distant, carried within him an empathy and understanding that was rare within the royal family. It was a shocking moment when Prince Edward finally broke his long silence and spoke about Princess Diana. After years of quiet observation, the world was stunned by his unexpected admission. What prompted him, after all these years, to speak out? The answer lay in the weight of the truth that had been buried deep within him for decades. As a royal, Edward had always adhered to the strict, silent traditions of his family, but when it came to Diana, the silence became too heavy to bear. In a private conversation, he revealed his deepest thoughts, sharing a perspective that had been hidden for so long. He confessed that Diana's struggles were not just personal, but a result of a royal system that failed to support her, a system that had rejected her authenticity in favor of maintaining an image. The revelation sent shockwaves through the royal family and the public alike. For the first time, someone within the royal circle dared to speak openly about the pain that Diana had endured. Edward's words were not just a reflection on the past, but a bold statement that challenged the way the royal family had handled the legacy of Diana. His honesty was a powerful and unexpected moment in a family known for its control over public perception. But what made Edward's words even more impactful was that they came from him, a man who had always been regarded as loyal and quiet, someone who rarely sought the spotlight. His decision to speak was not driven by personal gain or a desire to stir controversy, but rather by the need to finally acknowledge the painful truths that had been silenced for far too long. As his words began to spread, the world reacted with a mix of shock, admiration, and disbelief. What did this revelation mean for the royal family's carefully curated image? Could they ever recover from the truth that Edward had exposed? His admission forced people to confront the reality of Diana's life, and in doing so, it also forced the monarchy to face its own role in her suffering. It was clear that this was no ordinary confession. It was a pivotal moment that had the potential to change the course of royal history forever. For years, the royal family had struggled to balance their public image with the emotions surrounding Princess Diana's life and death. Diana, with her warmth and authenticity, had brought a human side to the monarchy, a side that many had never seen before. She broke away from the stiff traditions of the royal family and openly expressed her struggles, making the public see a side of the royals that had been hidden for so long. But this openness was met with resistance from the institution itself. The royal family, accustomed to maintaining a polished and detached image, found themselves grappling with the challenge of balancing tradition with the evolving expectations of the public. Diana's authenticity exposed the royal family's inability to adapt, and the tension between her vulnerability and the monarchy's rigid silence created a rift that could not easily be healed. As Diana's popularity grew, the royal family became increasingly uncomfortable with her rising influence. While they had been revered as symbols of tradition and stability, Diana had managed to connect with the public on a personal level. She showed the world that even royals had struggles, emotions, and flaws. But this was not the image the monarchy wanted to project. It was a delicate balance between honoring Diana's contributions and maintaining the royal family's reputation. In many ways, Diana's openness forced the monarchy to confront the very thing it had tried to hide for generations, its human imperfections. And this was a battle the royal family was not ready to fight. Prince Edward, though often silent, had witnessed all of this unfold. He saw the challenges that Diana faced, the isolation, the pressures, and the emotional toll it took on her. While the rest of the royal family remained silent, Edward quietly observed. He understood Diana in a way that few others did. His support for her was unwavering, even if it was often unspoken. In contrast to Charles, who was caught up in his own struggles with Diana, Edward remained steadfast. His silent support spoke volumes. But the real weight of this silent bond became apparent only when he finally broke his silence and spoke the truth about the struggles Diana faced and the system that failed her. Prince Edward's personal struggles were always kept hidden behind a veil of royal tradition. As the younger brother of the future king, he was often seen as a quiet, loyal figure, content with staying in the background. But beneath this reserved exterior, Edward was deeply affected by the events unfolding around him, particularly when it came to Diana. While the public never saw his inner turmoil, those closest to the royal family knew that Edward's empathy and understanding set him apart. He was a man who observed quietly, without drawing attention to himself, yet his internal conflict was undeniable. The pressures of being a member of the royal family weighed heavily on him, as he found himself torn between his loyalty to his family and his genuine sympathy for Diana. Edward's decision to remain silent for so long was not just a reflection of his personality, but a product of the royal family's expectations. Silence was the monarchy's shield, and Edward, like many of his family members, adhered to this code. But as the years passed, the emotional burden became too much to bear. The silence that had once seemed necessary to protect the family's image began to feel like a prison. Edward's decision to finally speak out was a quiet act of rebellion against the very system that had kept him, and the truth, silent for so long. In his words, there was no grandiosity or desire for attention. There was only raw, unguarded honesty, a man finally allowing himself to express the pain and the understanding he had carried for decades. In breaking his silence, Edward not only revealed his own struggles, but also shed light on the complexities of the royal family's dynamics. His reflections on Diana's life were not just a personal catharsis, they were a quiet challenge to the institution that had long silenced the very emotions that had shaped Diana's legacy. By speaking out, Edward offered a rare glimpse into the heart of a man who had lived with these truths for years, bearing witness to a family's pain while hiding his own. His honesty, though understated, was a powerful reminder that even those who remain in the background can carry the weight of untold stories. As Prince Edward finally spoke the truth after decades of silence, the royal family and the world were forced to confront a past that had long been buried. His candid reflections on Princess Diana's struggles and the royal system's failure to protect her opened a door that had been sealed for years. It was a moment of emotional reckoning, not just for Edward, but for the entire monarchy. His honesty, though painful, was a crucial step toward acknowledging the flaws of the past and the need for change. In breaking his silence, Edward gave voice to the emotional struggles that had been hidden behind the palace walls for so long. Edward's journey, from silent observer to emotional truth-teller, reminds us all of the power of honesty and the courage it takes to face the truth, even when it's difficult. His decision to speak out was a moment of clarity in a world where silence and control have often reigned supreme. His words will continue to resonate, not only within the royal family, but across the world, encouraging us to be more open and compassionate with one another. What lessons can we learn from Prince Edward's story? Sometimes, the most powerful actions are the quiet ones, and the truth, no matter how long it's been hidden, has a way of finding its voice. If you found inspiration in this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more incredible stories about the royal family and beyond.